Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Israel. President's remarks. Thank you all very much. Today is truly a historic day, an extraordinary day. It may well be remembered as one of the most important days in the history of civilization. Conflicts that have lasted for centuries, even millennia, have brought us to this point. And now, we are not only close to a breakthrough, we are beyond close. We are on the edge of something remarkable. I want to express my gratitude to Prime Minister Netanyahu, known to many as Bibi, for his leadership, his commitment, and his willingness to work together. The cooperation between us, and with many other nations, has been essential. That is the only path forward if we are to resolve this situation. And I'm not speaking solely about Gaza, though Gaza is of course part of this. What we are addressing goes far beyond Gaza. This is about the entire conflict, the broader struggle, and the ultimate goal, peace in the Middle East. Today marks a turning point. This is a day for peace. Prime Minister Netanyahu and I have just concluded a significant meeting where we discussed critical issues: Iran, trade, the expansion of the Abraham Accords, and most importantly, how to bring the war in Gaza to an end. But we both know that Gaza is only one piece of the puzzle. The larger vision is a Middle East at peace, lasting peace, eternal peace. What is happening right now has exceeded all expectations. The support I have received from countries across the Middle East, from Israel's neighbors and partners in the region, has been nothing short of extraordinary. Every single one of them has shown commitment. This afternoon, after extensive consultation with our friends and partners in the region, I am formally releasing our principles for peace. These are not casual proposals. They were developed carefully, in full collaboration with the nations directly concerned. Each of them contributed to shaping these. I want to especially thank the leaders of numerous Arab and Muslim nations who offered their strong support in drafting this framework, alongside many of our allies in Europe. In fact, Europe has been deeply engaged in this effort. European leaders called me directly, many of them asking, "Is it true? Are you really advancing peace in the Middle East?" They told me it was the most incredible development they had ever heard. Some even said it was the greatest diplomatic initiative of their lifetimes. They wanted to know if it was just a rumor or if it was real. And when they learned that Arab leaders themselves were part of this process, they were stunned. This is how significant today's announcement is. And I also want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu once again for supporting this plan and trusting that by working together, we can finally put an end to decades, even centuries, of bloodshed and destruction. Together, we can begin a new chapter of security, peace, and prosperity for the entire region. In our discussions, we engage with leaders from across the region, nations that play a central role in shaping peace in the Middle East. For example, I want to recognize the King of Saudi Arabia, a remarkable leader and a man I deeply respect. The Emir of Qatar, another extraordinary leader, has also been a constructive partner. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed of the United Arab Emirates has been closely involved as well. These are strong, capable leaders who have shared their ideas and perspectives with us. They've told us what is acceptable, what is not, and they've been candid and realistic. It's not a simple process. After 2,000 or 3,000 years of conflict, it could never be simple. But these leaders have stepped forward with seriousness and commitment. We also had the support of the King of Jordan, who joined us during the United Nations meetings. President Erdogan of Turkey, whom I consider a strong leader and a friend, has also played an important role. From Indonesia, a country with a truly remarkable president, respected across the globe, we received valuable contributions as well. And I must mention Pakistan. Both the Prime Minister and the Field Marshal of Pakistan have been engaged from the very beginning. In fact, just today, as I was preparing to walk into this room, we received a statement from Pakistan confirming their complete support for this peace framework, 100%. President El-Sisi of Egypt, another leader I know well, has also been strongly supportive. Over the years, since before I officially assumed office, I have built relationships with many of these leaders. And I can tell you, many of them are extraordinary men, and in some cases, extraordinary women as well. Not all of them, of course, but many are truly remarkable leaders who want peace and stability for their people. Now, here is what this plan requires. If Hamas agrees, they must release all remaining hostages immediately, within 72 hours at most. Families deserve to be reunited with their loved ones. And for those families whose sons were killed, the return of their bodies is just as important. I have spoken with parents who feel just as strongly about recovering the body of their child as they would if he were still alive. It is heartbreaking, but it matters deeply. This agreement would also bring a complete and immediate end to the war, not only in Gaza, but the broader conflict. Arab and Muslim nations, many of which I've already named, have pledged, often in writing, though I trust their word as well, to work toward demilitarizing Gaza. That means dismantling Hamas's weapons, eliminating their tunnels, shutting down production sites, and destroying all terrorist infrastructure. This must happen swiftly and decisively. These nations will also help establish and train new local police forces, working with a transitional authority in Gaza. Step by step, Israeli forces will withdraw in phases as progress is made, with the ultimate goal of a peaceful and secure Gaza under new governance. Arab and Muslim nations must take responsibility for managing Hamas. They are prepared to do so. In fact, I believe some already have arrangements in place that have not yet been publicly discussed. Without that cooperation, we would not have come this far. But let me be clear, if these commitments are not honored, if Hamas refuses or backtracks, then Israel will have the absolute right and the full backing of the United States to take whatever action is necessary. I am joined here today by leaders from across our government and beyond. People like Marco Rubio, our Vice President, Susie Wiles, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, and many others, who have played critical roles in advancing this peace initiative. Without them, this level of progress would not have been possible. For the first time in thousands of years, we are on the verge of something extraordinary. Scholars who study history will tell you that nothing like this has been attempted with such momentum and such broad support. Of course, there is always a chance Hamas will reject the deal. Everyone else, every other nation and leader, has agreed. Hamas is the one remaining obstacle. But I have reason to believe their response will be positive. If not, Prime Minister Netanyahu knows that Israel has our full and unwavering support to do what must be done. Everyone here understands that the ultimate goal is to eliminate the threat posed by Hamas and the terrorism they spread. That tyranny has to end, permanently. To guarantee the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, which we are calling the Board of Peace. It's a fitting name, simple, strong, and meaningful. This board will ensure that commitments are kept and that peace is sustained. Although I am already very busy, leaders from both the Arab world and Israel have urged me to take a personal role. So, the Board of Peace will be chaired by none other than myself, President Donald J. Trump of the United States. I did not ask for this responsibility, but I recognize how important it is, and I am committed to making sure it succeeds. The board will also include distinguished leaders from other countries. Already, one of those leaders has stepped forward, former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, a good man who has shown real interest in being part of this mission. Others will be announced soon, and I can assure you the group will be made up of highly capable individuals from across the world. Working with the World Bank and other partners, the Board of Peace will oversee the recruitment and training of a new governing body for Gaza, comprised of Palestinians and supported by experts from around the globe. Importantly, Hamas and all other terrorist factions will have no role whatsoever in this government. Not directly, not indirectly. Their time is over. Thousands of leaders and fighters have already been eliminated. We must never forget October 7th, the day that changed everything. But now, it is time to recover the hostages, to restore peace, and to begin building a new future. During our meeting today, Prime Minister Netanyahu made clear his deep concerns and his strong opposition to the creation of a Palestinian state. He often refers to October 7th, and I fully understand his position. His commitment to Israel's security is absolute, and he is right to be cautious. At the same time, the people of Israel are pleading for peace. They want their hostages returned, they want the fighting to stop, and they want life to return to normal. Crowds gather in Israel, and they often hold my name up on signs. They say two things: bring back the hostages and end the war. That is what the people want, and I believe it is possible. Prime Minister Netanyahu is a warrior, and Israel is fortunate to have him. But even warriors must recognize when the people are ready for peace, and they are ready now. Some countries, particularly in Europe, have gone ahead and recognized a Palestinian state. I believe this was done out of frustration after decades of conflict with no resolution. These leaders have dealt with the same problem year after year, and they simply want it to end. I understand that, but our approach is different. We want a peace that is real, lasting, and supported by all sides. No one wants that outcome more than I do, and I know Prime Minister Netanyahu feels the same. The people of Israel want it too. They want their hostages returned, including the bodies of those who died, and they want to see peace at last. Let us remember how we arrived at this moment. Years ago, Israel made a major concession. It withdrew completely from Gaza. The hope was simple, that peace would follow. They gave the land over, saying, "This is our contribution to peace." But instead of peace, the opposite happened. Rather than building schools, Israel's security is non-negotiable. The United States will stand by Israel and assist in ensuring its protection. We want this peace to work, and we will help guarantee that it does. If this plan is accepted, within days, not weeks or months, there should no longer be gunfire. There should no longer be rockets flying. And perhaps, just perhaps, this could mark the beginning of an era where weapons are put down not just for a short time, but forever. What we are pursuing here is not just a temporary pause. It is not just another fragile truce. What we are striving for is something far greater. Peace that endures. Peace that future generations can depend upon. The Middle East has seen endless cycles of war, destruction, and loss. But now, for the first time, there is a true chance to end that cycle and to build something lasting. The vision is clear. A region where Israelis and Palestinians alike can live in security, stability, and dignity. We can never erase the tragedy of October 7th. We can never forget the lives lost, the families shattered. But we can make certain that such horror never happens again. That is our duty to history and to the future. This plan offers the Palestinians an opportunity to govern themselves responsibly, to reject violence, and to earn their place in the community of nations. It also guarantees Israel's security, with the full support of the United States and the oversight of the international community. The Arab and Muslim nations that have joined us in this effort, along with partners in Europe and beyond, are prepared to stand behind this framework. They are ready to invest in rebuilding Gaza, to support new leadership, and to create an environment where peace can truly take root. If embraced, this agreement will mean the end of the war, the safe return of hostages, both living and deceased, the dismantling of terror networks, and the beginning of a brighter chapter for the Middle East. But if Hamas rejects it, then they will stand alone, exposed before the world as the obstacle to peace. And in that case, Israel will have the absolute right, with the full backing of the United States, to do whatever is necessary to eliminate the threat. I believe, however, that we are on the brink of something extraordinary. With courage, determination, and the cooperation of so many nations, we can bring about what generations before us could only dream of: peace in the Middle East, true peace, eternal peace. Thank you very much. God bless you, God bless Israel, and God bless the United States of America.